Hey guys, this is Toy Tony, and I am excited because why am I excited? They're doing Masters of the Universe wrestlers. Holy crap. Masters of the WWE Universe. And I don't care what they do if it has Masters in it. And so you can see that since they've incorporated the Masters of the Universe theme into wrestling, I will be buying each and every one of these. Thanks a lot, Mattel. More of my money out the door. So anyway, I only found 2 of the figures, but I figured, what the heck? We got to talk about at least these 2. And then when I find the other ones, we'll talk about those. So without any hesitation, we're going to go right into it and look at what we found. The first one that we found is Sting. One of the cool things that I noticed about these figures is if you have an old He-Man figure, and I can pick one up here in a little bit and do a comparison. They made the card the exact same shape and size as a vintage He-Man figure, and that is very cool. Right away it's screaming to me, hey, I look like He-Man. The bubbles are even the same kind of bubble that they put on the vintage He-Man. And one of the cool things that I noticed and I was not aware of that was coming with these is they all come with a mini comic. Wow, look at that. Mini comic, that is vintage He-Man for sure. Anyway, I thought we'd look at the graphics as well. These graphics, they have like rocks blowing up, and on the old He-Man cards it was more of a lava kind of, it was more fire and warm, but still very reminiscent of the energy, if we want to call it that, the energy that the old He-Man packaging gave us when we looked at it. That being said, we're going to move over to the back side. Again, this is very reminiscent of the old He-Man figures. The only thing with the old He-Man figures, which Super 7 I think handled better than they have, is that they made these cool little illustrations over here. Well, on this side they've updated the illustrations as well as the top piece of artwork, and instead of doing a 2D type thing like we had on the vintage cards, we have more of a 3D painted image. Anyway, so for the most part it tells us about the free mini comic, but it doesn't really go into detail about anything else that goes along with the figures. And on the back we can also see that besides the Finn Balor and the Sting, which we're currently talking about, there is going to be an Ultimate Warrior, and is that Triple H? I think it's Triple H. So anyway, it looks like there's 4 in the first set. We're going to move this baby over. We're going to look at the Finn Balor card. Again, very cool looking figures. Both of them are very cool looking, and we're going to open them both up in a minute, and that's why we're mainly discussing the graphics on the card and not as much about the figure, because we're going to get these babies out of here. But anyway, again, very cool looking. I can't wait to get these open. Finn Balor, he just screams, hey, I want to be an action figure because of the designs that he uses in his wrestling persona. On the back of this one, again, you get some amazing artwork. Look at this crazy looking painting on the top of this card that shows him using those big long tentacles. And then again, they're showing you how you can move this item off of his torso and put it back on, and it shows you how he can swing around and use the tentacles that he comes with. And so on the back side of this one, again, we have a lot of foreign language that nobody can read. And so here is what they look like, the 2 figures that I found on the card. And I'm very excited about these, and so now we're going to take a few moments to cut them off the card, and we'll look at them when we have them in our hands. Okay, well now we've got these wonderful figures out of the package. And what I went ahead and did was try to put the accessories that came with these babies with the figure, and then we'll take them, strip them down, and see what they're made of. Okay, so we've got Sting and Finn Balor, and they look cool standing here. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, Sting's got his claw hand, and that's very reminiscent of Clawful from the original Master of the Universe line. And then he comes with this crazy, just the back end of the Scorpion. So it looks like he went one-on-one with the Scorpion, and the Scorpion lost. But anyway, it looks really cool. Finn Balor, again, he looks crazy out of the package, and he comes with these tentacles, and the tentacles are attached on his wrist, and there's two different colors, and you can use both of them, and we've been able to attach them both so you can look at them, so they look really cool, or you can just use one, or you can do a mix match. You can put black on one and red on the other. I'll take these off here in just a second and show you, but anyway, we wanted to kind of give you a battle mode, so to speak, of these two guys. Out of the package, they're ready to go, and they're ready to fight in the Masters of the WWE Universe. And so we're going to move Finn over here, and we're going to look at Sting. Now, like I said, he comes with these accessories. This one looks cool. I mean, this is a awesome accessory. I mean, it's the back end of the Scorpion, and then he's chained together one of his other pieces, and so you've got this wonderful like chain weapon that he's created. And then on this side, he's taken one of the claws, and Mattel made it where it's like a glove, and it fits right on this fist hand. And I have to say that this works great. You put this on here like that, and there's a lever on it, and it's not spring loaded or anything, but you can use this lever and you can pull back on it back and forth like this, and you can, you know, maybe he picks up this, maybe that's the way you can hold this thing. But it opens and closes, so if you want to fight, if you're fighting Finn, you can go and then you can crunch his head. So it's a very cool accessory. I like it, and it's easy to put on, and as a plus. Now this, Mattel, they probably need to look back at this accessory, and like a lot of accessories that you find when you get really cool action figures, I don't know who's in charge of them, but they must design the accessory and then never go back and see if it even fits in the hand. One of the gripes I have is the hands on these new He-Man type bodies are, the grip is, there's not much of a grip there. I mean, if he had a little bitty gun or something, he might fit in there. But getting this chain to tuck in there where you can hold it and actually do something, I mean, now it's making me a liar because it fit, but you really have to push it in there. And again, I don't know how much play value there is unless you're going to like hold it and but anyway, I guess it looks pretty cool. I did get it to go in, but it's not easy. It's not easy, and the top piece of this is really heavy. But when you put everything together, wow, what can I say? This is definitely reminiscent of some old He-Man action figures. I tell you what, I really like it. The paint details are really awesome. I think it's one of the best painted Sting faces that I've seen, as well as the details. And I know that they do a lot of that digital scanning now, so that's probably the reason that these figures look so good. And if there's me personally, I like the digital scanning, but I used to like the old style action figures too, because there's a character, you know, there's something special about hand sculpted figures. I mean, they get their own personal characteristics that make them, you know, I've looked at these, and we've talked about it many times about you know, what's better, all the crazy detail like we get on Marvel Legends and stuff now, or then you go back and look at Toy Biz figures, or even look at old He-Man figures, and there's something about the simplistic approach and the human error side of it that to me makes the toys more endearing. I mean, old Star Wars toys today and He-Man toys, I still gravitate towards them more than I do the new figures. So that being said, with today's sculpting and detailing, this is an awesome figure. Whether it's my favorite type of figure, you know, maybe not. I still prefer, you know, classic old He-Man. Anyway, this is a cool figure. So we've looked at that one. We're going to move over, and we looked at Finn Balor. And we might bring Finn Balor's card back in here to show you on here, but on Finn Balor's card it shows that you can actually take off this piece here, that kind of like an armor piece, and it's a la vintage type He-Man because it clamps in the back, and you can pop this baby off, and you can pull it over his head, and you can take it off that way. You have to dance it down his legs, and then you have a figure that looks like this. But overall, the paint detailing and the articulation make these figures everything that I wanted and more. So the two that we found are here. We will take a brief look at the comics that came with the figures, because it said free comic, and I was thinking comic book. Well, it's a comic in a sense that there's illustrated panels in here, but there's not a whole lot to go with it. If you look at this one, we show Sting, and we show how he fights the Scorpion and gets his arm piece and his accessory, and it doesn't have any kind of verbal anything. And then down here at the bottom in various languages it says Sting, mysterious vigilante of vengeance. So anyway, it's really cool artwork. And on the back you have the assortment that is now out. So anyway, you do get a mini comic. It's not quite a comic book, and so that's a little bit of a bummer, but this is still very cool because I think it's just another nod back to the toys we all love from the 80s. And we'll take a quick look at the Finn Balor one as well, and we won't point out the fact again that it's just more of a one-pager. But with Finn's, again, it's just mainly to show his accessories, and you see a quick encounter with the demon that he somehow gets his power from. So on this one, it says Heroic Demon King. So, okay, like I promised, I went back into the dungeon, so to speak, the ToyTony dungeon, and pulled out a vintage Clawful because I felt like it was appropriate since Sting has claws. And anyway, I wanted to show you just briefly the cards and how they've compare side by side, and they're the same size, like I said before. And one of my main gripes was the way this one doesn't carry as much as this one, and I think it's because there's more dark in the logo here, and this is more, it's kind of light on the top and bottom. Okay, and if you see when I turned the card around, the comparison, I thought it was cool because, you know, Clawful has claws and Sting has claws, but you can see how the 2D artwork compares with the more digitally painted 3D artwork. They're both really awesome, so I'm not going to sit here and gripe about what's better, 2D or 3D, but anyway, I thought for this video that we would just compare the cards real quick. So here you have it. That was a look at the first set of figures from the Masters of the WWE Universe. Until next time, this is Toy Tony, and remember, you're never too old to love toys. I'll talk to you soon.